Okay, so check this out. You hear a song, it's an absolute banger, and you have to send it to your friends, like right now. So what do? You grab your phone, you find the link, you send it. Simple. But what if you couldn't do that? No, really, think about it for a second. Before Spotify, before TikTok, before any of that, how did you share your favorite song? How did you even have a personal soundtrack for your life? Well, back in the Renaissance, if you wanted your music to go, you didn't pull out a phone, you pulled out a lute. So, let's get into it. We're talking about the Renaissance's top gadget. And I'm not kidding. For people living hundreds of years ago, the lute was basically the coolest piece of tech you could own. It wasn't just some old instrument. It was like a whole entertainment center you could just carry with you.
All right, so what is a lute anyway? Well, it's a stringed instrument, and you know it by that cool pear-shaped body. It actually has roots in a Middle Eastern instrument called the oud. And its sound? It was really unique, super soft and delicate, which was perfect for the really intricate melodies they were into back then.
And get this, the smartphone comparison? It's not a stretch. Seriously, like your phone, a lute was completely portable. You could take your music anywhere. It provided all kinds of entertainment, everything from upbeat dance music to super emotional, moody songs. And if you knew how to play one, oh, that was a huge status symbol. It basically told everyone you were smart, sophisticated, and yeah, kind of a big deal.
Okay, so if the lute was their smartphone, what was on the playlist, right? What kind of apps was it running? Let's dive into what was on repeat on the #1 gadget of the Renaissance. The thing is, the lute wasn't just for one type of music. Not at all. It had a whole soundtrack for pretty much every part of life. Just look at this breakdown. You had your dance music, super energetic and rhythmic, perfect for big court parties. This was the stuff that got everybody on their feet. Then you had what were called secular songs, which were pretty much the pop music of the day, all about love and life. You'd hear those at smaller, more personal get-togethers. And for those chill, quiet moments, there was religious music you could play at home. So yeah, it literally had a vibe for everything. All right, so you've got your lute. How do you go from total noob to absolute pro? Well, you can think of it just like leveling up in a game. There was a whole skill tree to climb. And here's the crazy part. Being a pro wasn't just about playing the music exactly as written. Nope. The real masters, they could improvise. It was all about freestyling, adding your own creative spin and personal style right there in the moment. So your first step was learning the code. This was something called tablature, which was basically a cheat sheet that showed you where to put your fingers on the strings. Super easy, no need to read complex music. Step 2 was mastering the moves. Fancy finger picking and adding little flourishes called ornaments. And then, for step 3, you unlock the final boss level, improvisation. This is where you could just go freestyle and really make the music yours. So, how did the lute get so massive? How did it go completely viral? It wasn't just a fluke. There were 2 huge reasons why this thing just exploded in popularity all over Europe. And when I say viral, I mean for a long time. We're talking from the 14th all the way to the 17th century. For hundreds of years, this was the instrument. So what made it so successful?
First up, a game-changing new technology. The killer app for the lute was music printing. You can seriously think of this as being as big a deal as the internet was for us.
And this changed everything. All of a sudden, music could reach way more people. The tablature system got standardized, so everyone was learning the same way. Musical styles started spreading super fast, kind of like how memes spread today. And for the first time ever, you could actually save music for the future instead of it just getting lost. Okay, so what was the second big reason? You guessed it, influencers. The OG influencers, that is. We're talking about the rich and famous of the Renaissance. The nobles, the kings, the queens. They were all obsessed with the lute. And you know how it goes. When the cool kids are into something, everyone else wants in. The lute became this huge symbol of being sophisticated and cultured. If you were anybody important, you learned how to play it. Royals would hire the best lute players like they were signing pro athletes. And rich people would actually pay composers to write brand new, exclusive music just for them. It was a whole scene. But, like with all tech, nothing stays at the top forever, right? So, what happened? Why did the lute's reign end? It's the classic story of out with the old, in with the new. You can see the whole upgrade cycle right here. For centuries, the lute was #1. But then, in the late 16th century, new tech started rolling out.
Instruments like the harpsichord and early keyboards showed up, and they were just louder. Musical taste started to change. People wanted a bigger, more complex sound for orchestras, and the lute's quiet, personal vibe just couldn't keep up. It slowly faded from the mainstream. And really, that's the whole story in a nutshell. The lute shows us that even the most popular, must-have technology can eventually be replaced when tastes and tools evolve.
So, I'll leave you with this question. The lute was replaced by new tech. So, what's the lute in your life right now? What's that one piece of tech you can't live without that might just be a museum piece one day? Kind of makes you think, right?